Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. 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 Just having a little technology issues. You see me yet, Dio?
Hold on, I'm going back right now. Yup.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yup.
All right. Okay. Let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do this. This weekend, first weekend of the 2025 NBA playoffs. Everything kicked off Saturday. Last playing games was Friday or Thursday, one of the days. It was Friday. Was it Friday or was it Thursday? It was Friday, right? And the playoffs, round one, started Saturday. And let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into what surprised us, what we expected to happen. That's what I want to do. I want to get into what surprised me. I want to get into what happened that I expected to happen. And then I'm going to get into what I feel is going to happen moving forward. And we're going to stay abreast and stay on top of these playoffs. And we're going to see who's right, who's wrong. So you guys can help me out in the comments. You guys can help me out in the comments. And y'all can get into how y'all feel about certain things, what you think is going to happen. And we just got to figure out who's right and who's wrong when it's all said and done. That's just basically what it is. We just got to figure out who's right, who's wrong when it's all said and done. Now, with that said, the first game on the slate was Milwaukee at Indiana. This is the 5th versus the 4th seed in the East. Indiana, which I think is a bad matchup for Milwaukee. They walked away 117-98. 117-98. 19-point blowout. Dame Lillard is still out with the blood clot, right? That's what he had. He had a blood clot somewhere on his body, but Dame is expected to be back tomorrow. Kyle Kuzma, who they brought over from Washington Wizards, was practically a dud. Dud. He was a dud, ladies and gentlemen. Stat line. Points, 0. Rebound, 0. Assists, 0. Blocks, 0. He did all that in 21 minutes. 21 minutes. This man didn't give them nothing but 2 personal fouls. That's all Kyle Kuzma gave them. I'm going on record. I'm saying this. This is a bad matchup for the Bucks. Isn't it the same team that knocked the Bucks out the playoffs last year? This is a bad matchup for them. And I'm going on record and I'm saying Indiana will win the series. And after they do, I'm going to tell Giannis, this is directly to Giannis. You need to find you a new team. Because understand something in basketball. In the basketball, especially in the NBA, this is what happened, ladies and gentlemen. You reach your peak, a team, they reach their peak and they don't go no further. It's just that cut and dry. They reach, they peak, and they don't go no further. I do not see the Milwaukee Bucks going no further. You add in players like Damian Lillard, which causing you to give up players like Jrue Holiday. Yeah, if I want to sell seats, I'm going to get Damian Lillard. But if I want to win championships or even just win games, I'm getting Jrue Holiday. Because I'm not going to compromise offense. Excuse me, let me reverse that. I'm not going to compromise defense for offense. I'm just not doing that, ladies and gentlemen. So the move on Indiana part, excuse me, why am I bringing Indiana in this, ladies and gentlemen? Excuse me. The move on Milwaukee part, it wasn't a good move for them. And that organization is going down. And then you had the coach over there, was it Griffin, who was doing a good deal, a good job over there. You remove him and you bring in Doc Rivers. You bring in Doc Rivers, the king of blowing 3-1 leads. And guys, did you hear what Doc said, man? This man has a lot of audacity. You know, when they question him blowing all these 3-1 leads, you know, the guy, I'm just paraphrasing. I don't know exactly what he said, but he's basically saying shit, at least we won 3 games. That's somebody you want coaching your team? At least we won 3 games. I thought the ultimate goal was to win a championship. Because Doc, having coached a team of bums, should I call NBA players bums, ladies and gentlemen? Is it okay for me to call NBA players bums? Because I'm not better than these guys. But Doc Rivers, having coached a team without stars since Orlando, he's always had, what he had? Kevin Durant? No, not Kevin Durant. Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Rondo. He went out to LA. Chris Paul, Blake Griffin. Now he's in Milwaukee with Giannis. Giannis, when you lose against Indiana, because I'm calling it, Indiana will win the series. And when you lose, you better start thinking about your next move. And I'm going to tell you guys now, I'm going to give Giannis a good place to go play. That's how nice of a guy I am. I'm going to give Giannis a place he should be playing at. And you know where that place is at? Go to Miami. But just ask Miami, could they bring in a point guard? I'm not sold on Tyler Hero at my point guard, but he can go. He can go. Tyler can go. Tyler can go. When it's all said and done, Tyler can go. But I'm just not sold on Tyler Hero being the point guard. So Giannis, after you knocked off, get on the phone with your agent and tell him you ready to go to Miami. Just let him know. Let's move along. Let's move along. That was the first game of the series. Then we had, what was the second game Saturday? Give me a second, guys. I got to pull the schedule up. Because I want to say that Knicks game was like the third game of the series, right? Oh, okay. After that game, we had that Clippers-Denver game. That was a goodie. Denver won 112 to 110. The Clippers took them to overtime. I'm going on record right now. I'm giving this series to the Clippers. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not just going to hand it to them. That's a contingency comes with that, ladies and gentlemen. A contingency. 2 things got to happen. If these 2 things happen, I'm giving this series to the Clippers. The main thing got to happen is James Harden has to keep his head in the game. He can't become the disappearing man and do a disappearing act that we have seen him do year after year in the playoffs. James, you can't do that. Keep your head in the game, James. Because when James Harden is James Harden, He's hard to beat, ladies and gentlemen. That man is hard to beat. I'm going to tell you guys right now. However, it's something that goes on with this man, where this man will give you 30, 40 points a game and then come back and give you 7, 13. So if James Harden keeps his head in the game, that's one of the contingencies. The other contingency is Kawhi Leonard doesn't get hurt. The king of injuries, Kawhi Leonard. This man may be getting hurt as I speak, and it ain't even a game going on, ladies and gentlemen. So those are two contingencies. I'm not going to stay there too long. Those are the two contingencies. If two contingencies happen, then I'm going to give it to the Clippers. I'm going to give it, even though they down 0-1, I'm going to still give it to them. Because understand something. Like they say, the playoffs don't start till the world team wins a game. And I am not anticipating the Denver Nuggets to beat them 4 times. Could be right, could be wrong. But I'm telling you now, I am not anticipating that. Let's move right along. The next game, the Detroit Pistons versus the New York Knicks. Detroit had them. Detroit had them. But at some point, Detroit couldn't handle the run. So basketball is a game of runs. You go up, you can't expect the opposing team to just lay down, especially the New York Knicks, because the Knicks don't look at Detroit and be like, oh, we scared of them. The Knicks look at them like, we can beat them. Now, mind you, ladies and gentlemen, Detroit beat the Knicks 3-1 in the regular season. And let me emphasize that, regular season. So the Knicks is saying it's playoffs time. To hell with the regular season. Regular season got nothing to do with what's going on in the playoffs. We could and we gonna beat these dudes. And I agree to that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I agree that Detroit Pistons cannot beat the Knicks in a 7-game series. They don't have enough experience. And here's the main thing. They role players. No, I don't say role players. Let me take that back. You know what the problem is? Not the role players. Their veterans are just not good enough. The best player on the team is Cade Cunningham. It's not Tobias Harris. It's not Schroeder. It's not Beasley. So Detroit is good enough to win a game or two. And if I was a Detroit Pistons fan, I'd be happy with that game or two. I'd be happy with the fact that we went from 14 wins, and guess what? We won 42 games. 44 games, I think they won this year. I'd be happy with that. What else can you ask for? It's not like you got a powerhouse over there. Most of the guys that are the vets on the team, they'll probably be on the bench somewhere else. You don't believe me? Ask Tim Hardaway Jr. Couldn't even get into Dallas after a while. Ask Schroeder. Bounced around the NBA like a basketball. So your vets, nobody really wants them. So if they could come over there and they help you win games, kudos to you. Kudos to your team. But don't get too excited, Dallas. Don't get too excited, Detroit. Don't get too excited. Because your days are numbered. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But it's over. Let's move right along. The final game. Minnesota at LA. Minnesota stopped the mud hole with them. 117-95. Minnesota stepped the mud hole. 117-95. And you know what bugs me out about this, ladies and gentlemen? Those Laker fans, which a lot of them are my friends, they not concerned. They better be. They better be concerned. Those Laker fans are not concerned. It's only one game. Hey, man, you know what I learned Saturday? They can win this series, ladies and gentlemen. They can win this series, especially if that kid McDaniels and Naj Reid shoot the way they shot. Minnesota got a solid point guard in Mike Conley. No, he's never been to an All-Star game, but this guy is solid. He's going to come in. He's going to do his job. He's going to do his job. This is a solid player. You got Luka, who had 37 points, but it wasn't enough to avoid them getting blown out. So I said I'm going to make a prediction. I really don't want to make a prediction. I'd like to see another game. Tomorrow they play game 2 before I predict who's going to win this series. Because it's hard to bet against LeBron. Because here's the thing. Luka's special, LeBron special. LA got 2 special players. And when you got those special players, and them boys have those special nights, it's a whole new ball game. The opposing team, you get stuck just watching them. So I'm going to hold off on this prediction. I ain't even going to go on a limb. I'm going to hold off on this prediction until tomorrow. And then tomorrow, I'm going to tell you guys, after tomorrow game, and I see game 2, because I want to see if it was a fluke. Minnesota was way more physical than the LA Clippers. Even JJ Redick said it. But that's a problem when you got to talk about physicality in the damn playoffs. I thought you would know that before the game. When you walk in the arena, we got to be physical. We got to win this game. But I'm going to give LA a pass thinking maybe they underestimated. Just maybe they underestimated Minnesota. So let's hold off on that prediction. Let's hold off on that prediction until tomorrow. Let's get to Sunday games. Sunday games. First game of the day. My OKC versus Memphis. 131-80. 51 points, ladies and gentlemen, if you can't count. That's 51 points. Is OKC 51 points better than Memphis? Saturday they was. They were Saturday. I'm expecting Memphis to come out with a better showing tomorrow. But I'm clearly giving this series to OKC. I'm going to say it again. I'm clearly giving this series to OKC, despite the 51-point blowout. And I like Ja. I like how Ja put it. Ja said it best. When the reporters went to Ja and they asked him about getting blown out by 51, you know what Ja said? Ja said, if we win Tuesday, to game means nothing. And it's right. He's right. Because all Memphis has to do is still 1 or 2 games. That's, as an incoming team, that should be your goal, to just steal 1 or 2 games. So if OKC is not mentally prepared, thinking that, okay, we just blew them out by 51, and they don't come in and take Memphis serious Tuesday, it's a possibility they may split. Even though it's no doubt in my mind that OKC can go there and get that win back in Memphis. It's no doubt in my mind that. But I don't want OKC to come in there tomorrow night thinking they won the game before they played it. That's what I don't want from OKC. So OKC, go in prepared to play. Understand that Memphis is going to give you their best swing. I would like to see y'all leave Memphis up 2-0 and then leave OKC 2-0, go into Memphis and steal 1. Because then right there, pretty much the series is going to be over. Let's move right along. The Boston versus the Orlando versus Boston. Orlando matches 86, Boston 103. I think the spread on that, ladies and gentlemen, was 13 points. And when I got the call, because everybody always calls me and they ask me, what do I think about this team? What do I think about that team? They always call me with this stuff, you know, as if I'm the guy with the answers. Let me tell you guys right now, if I could go to one of them betting websites and I knew what was going to happen, hey, I wouldn't be on YouTube. I'll just be betting and collecting. Betting is not always about you knowing the players and you knowing the teams. Because I don't have the inside track on how a player is playing or feeling, let's say that, personally. I don't have that inside track. Let's be clear, ladies and gentlemen. So you may have such and such supposed to score 25 points. If he does, you win this. I get a call, hey, you think such and such going to get 25? I don't know. I don't know if this man just got into an argument with his wife. I don't know if this man is in a bad mood. I don't know if his shot going to be off. I don't know. So to my friends and family, I love you, but please stop calling me with these bets. But back to the topic. They gave Orlando 13 points. Boston clearly covered it. And what I seen Sunday with that game, I seen Boston come to take care of business. I'm going on record right now. Not only is Boston going to win that series, I don't see Orlando winning more than one game. I'm giving Boston this series 4-1. Let's move back right along. Miami versus Cleveland. Miami 100. Cleveland 121. It's the same old Miami, ladies and gentlemen. It's the same old Miami. The team that gets to where they are for overachieving. Don't have a ton of talent over there. And this is nothing, no slap in the face to Tyler Hero or Alabama or whatever, however you call that man. It's no slap in their face. But they're just not ready for the Cleveland Cavaliers this year. Will the Miami Heat win games? Yeah. I'm giving them 2 games. I'm going to give them 2 games in this series. That's better than what I gave Orlando. I gave Orlando 1. I'm giving Miami 2 games in this series because these guys know how to overachieve. And this is why I like to say they got some real talent over there, like Giannis. They can possibly win a championship. They're going to need a point guard, though. They're going to need a point guard. But you get a Giannis over there, it's going to be a different ball game. But back to the game, Cleveland just wiped the floor with them. And Miami, they showed some grit. They was there. They was right there. But then after a while, what happens is that even though you overachieving, if the better team is here to play, you can overachieve all you want. The better team is going to win. See, if you overachieving and a better team is slacking, then you can go in there and steal one. But if the other team is here to play, at some point, the less talented team, they're going to let go. And that's what happened in that game. Now, finally, the last game I watched, because I watched every game this weekend, every single game. And I made a promise to myself, I'm going to watch every game of this playoffs all the way to the last game. I don't want to miss nothing. So finally, the last game of the playoffs for the first weekend was Houston versus Golden State Warriors. Golden State, 95. Houston, 85. Ladies and gentlemen, the last time Houston played Golden State in a regular season, Houston held Golden State to 3 points. Houston got very excited about that. Can you see how they was bumping each other and all that? They was really hyped up about that game last night. But I'm going to tell you, Houston, you're not winning that series. You're not winning that series. Steph Curry like 37. Jimmy Butler like 35. who was the best players last night for Golden State. They understand how time is of an essence. So what they're going to do is they're going to use their experience to get you up out of there. I'm telling you guys now. They're going to use your experience to get you guys up out of there. And let me tell you guys a little story. I had a friend, right? Still a friend of mine. I haven't seen him in a while, but still a friend. He was about 14. And he had great size to be a 14-year-old. He was about 6'1". He was kind of bulky. And, you know, he used to come out and play with us being the grown men. And, you know, I'm guarding him and he's guarding me. And I'm like, damn, this kid's giving me damn problems. And ultimately, I was only able to outplay him by using this. I had to use this to outbeat him, this. And I'm telling you, Houston, this is the same thing Golden State going to do. Udoka's a good coach, but he doesn't have 4 championship rings like Steve Nash. Steve Nash has 4 championship rings as a coach. Let's not even get into his Chicago and San Antonio days, the rings he won there. He has 4 championship rings as a coach. And let me tell you guys a little something about coaching. Because a lot of you guys that don't coach, you'll think that it's just about get this player, that player, and that player, and you're going to win. No, it's way more than coaching to that. The hardest part about coaching, right, is getting players to buy in. That's the hardest part about coaching, getting players to buy in. Because if I'm asking y'all to do A, B, C, and this player is doing A and B, but he won't do C, and then he got this player over here that's not doing none of it because he thinks he knows more than the coach, you're going to have a problem. We don't see a lot of teams with good players go nowhere. Hey, guys ever heard of Phoenix Suns? Devin Booker? You ever heard of him? Kevin Durant? Bradley Beal? You guys ever heard of him? 3 players who average at least 25 for their career. So we got to give these coaches a little bit more credit. Don't think because you got quality players that automatically equates to wins, because it doesn't. You have to have players that buy into your system. You have to have players that are unselfish and want to see the next man successful as he see himself. You have to have players on your team to just fall back and say, I'm going to let Steph do him. He's a better shooter than him. I got the open shot. He got an open shot. I'm going to give it to him. You got to have players on your team like that. And I don't want to get into all that Mark Jackson stuff. Because when we get to the Mark Jackson stuff and we start talking that stuff about, well, Mark created that team and Mark this and Mark that, Mark never won. Yes, Mark made the team better. Yes, Mark Jackson made that Golden State team better. You can't deny that. But Mark never won. He never won. So we got to give Steve Kerr credit if we want to or not. Why? Because prior to Steve Kerr coaching the Golden State Warriors, they had what? How many rings did they have? Did they have 0? Now they got 4? Did they have a ring back in the days? I don't know. They had a ring back in the days. I don't think they had a ring back in the days. They had a ring back in the days. I stand corrected. But the bottom line, to end this live, Golden State Warriors will take down the Houston Rockets. You guys just don't have enough experience. I am sorry. You ain't been around long enough. I am sorry. Your coach, he's a good coach playing against a team like the Nets. He's not beating the Golden State Warriors 4 times. I am sorry. And I'm going to go on record and say Golden State 4, Houston Rockets 2. Goodbye.